Hey, did you know that bricks are heavy? Did you know that? Of course you knew that. We all know bricks are heavy. But do you also know what can be very, very heavy? Shame, guilt, sadness, depression, grief, anger, resentment, grudges, all those things that weigh on us over time and they feel really heavy. Like you can't shake them off, right? Like they're following you, like you're wearing them. I know I grew up with that. That was my whole first half of my life was all that heaviness, trauma, and abuse and neglect and depression and embarrassment and shame and all that stuff. It was heavy. And I heard the coolest thing today. I heard you guys know I love a cheesy quote or a cheesy saying. It's a little cheesy, but I don't know. So it was kind of an analogy, right? A person was talking about a little presentation that they do where they wear a backpack, basically, right? And in that backpack, when they're talking to the people that they're talking to, they got all these bricks in there. And on the bricks, they write shame, guilt, sadness, anger, grief, all the things that I just mentioned, and probably more. But as they're going along and talking, they're taking these bricks out, right? And they're making their load a little less heavy, and it's their shoulders are now up, they're not hunched over, carrying this big weight. And before you know it, their bag's empty and they're free from all that weight. And the way it was told to me today was basically with those bricks, as we work to get rid of all that heaviness, we can do a few things with those bricks, right? We can hold on to them and we can build a wall. And with a wall, we're not able to see past. I always talk to you guys about seeing bigger than this, right? The bigger picture. If we build up walls with all that stuff that we've been through, all that, hurt and anger and resentment that builds up, we might not be able to pass through where we want to go. And we might not be able to get to the other side of that wall if we don't get over the things that helped build that wall. Or we can take those bricks and essentially build a path, right? And I know that's cheesy, but you can build a path to where you want to go if you are able to lay those down and rid yourself of those and walk over them, right? You've now conquered those things, and it's not easy. And I'll never ever tell you that it is easy because I know from personal experience, obviously, and a lot of you are undergoing all the things that you're doing as far as the work you're putting in here or in therapy or in school or with your family, trying to essentially shed yourself of that weight. More appropriately for the way we talk, you're trying to break a cycle. But we'll stick with bricks for now. I'm cool with that. Sometimes I can not talk about cycle breaking. That's okay. But yeah, I thought that was neat. And for me, that has been the process. Like I had to work through that stuff for many, many, many years. And that's why I always talk to you guys about this stuff because I hope that you hear these messages and that you begin to start thinking of what you need to do to get over that trauma and those things and repair relationships a lot sooner than I did because it took a long time for me. Too long, as a matter of fact. With that being said, the other part of what I wanted to say was I was asked the other day, Mr. Ryan, how are you the director of this place? Like, how are you even a director? And at first I thought that was an interesting question, but I didn't know what the question was essentially or what it was implying. But I'll tell you, using the brick analogy, all that weight that had been on me for so many years and all those things that I dealt with as a younger person throughout pretty much the first half of my life, I always asked the same question. I always asked, why me? Why, man, this is a hard life. Like, why this have to happen to me? It doesn't seem like any of my friends or anybody I've ever met is going through this. Why me? And it was only until probably in the last, 10 years that I was able to say, oh, that's why me. That's why. I went through all of that stuff and I learned all those lessons the hard way and I had to go through it and walk through it to be able to understand how to not only change things for myself, but help you guys change and help encourage you and show you different strategies and opportunities for essentially, shedding yourself of your bricks or breaking the cycle. That's why me. And so I had to rephrase that question, and I think that's probably the answer to the why are you a director or how did you become a director question. And if you remember asking me that question, you're smiling right now. But ultimately, that is why. Like I put in a lot of work to be a director, and really the answer to that also is that I spent a lot of years doing the hands-on frontline work with kids and families. And my ultimate goal was to get into a place where now not only am I helping the kids and families that are on my caseload, but I can now help shape and teach and coach others to kind of go about it the same way or in their own style, but with the same goal, and that is, helping the families and the kids break cycles and make a better life for them. And so that's why. That's why, and that's why me. In my life is that all that stuff happened for me, and I used to ask that question, why me, in a different way. Now I ask it, or I don't even say why me, or maybe I do. Sometimes I say why me, but I say why me because this is why. I'm doing what I love, and I'm doing, I put purpose to the things that happened in my early years, and I shed those bricks and I broke that cycle, and you can too. It's not easy, you guys. I say that to you a lot, but it's the truth. Change is hard. Breaking cycles is really tough. It takes a lot of work, a lot of help, a lot of admitting that, the way we chose is probably not leading anywhere, and we need to kind of rethink our strategy in life. And that's okay too, man. Every time you see somebody who's kind of made it to where they were hoping to be, I promise you they've changed their strategy, or they've had to shift their worldview and get over things and rebrand themselves and create a new person to get to where they wanted to be. It's just adjusting to what you need to do, and that's kind of the whole game of life there. But you guys can do it. You definitely can do it, and it starts first and foremost with breaking the cycle. That's it. And go back to the bricks one more time, and taking those bricks off your shoulders, out of your pack that's weighing you down, and essentially make that path for you to get to the place you want to be. You guys can do it. You've already, the group that we have right now, you guys have been amazing. You've broken a lot of cycles already, and you've shown people back, either your POs here or back in your home county, that you're willing to make changes. You're willing to put in the work and do it. So what's stopping you now? Keep it going. Keep it rolling when you're out of here. Help others do the same, and break that cycle, baby.